you've got it down work-wise to where the podcast that's your main business. And the pieces that come around the podcast.
Yes and no. Like, I don't have my eggs all in one basket. Like, the podcast is a good rev stream, but then I own several other businesses.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Drive Fast All Gas, right. Giveaways, and the brands with that, the merch with that. I have a supplement company.
Yeah,
I'm involved in several other brands where I have equity. So I'm part of the board with them. So
got it.
I just
Very
have a million things. So it's not all just predicated on podcasting.
Yeah.
The Mustang you guys gave away, that was sick.
Oh, the Dark Horse?
Yeah,
that was fun.
Hey, how many have you done?
Did you hear that? For Brendan Schaub, and someone on the Fighter and the Kids subreddit said this, is embarrassed by his podcast because he can't claim that his podcast is his number one source of income since his podcast is a complete failure and is dead. So he says he's on the board of companies. He has equity. He owns a supplement company. I don't know which one is that. Are they trying to sell Addies and stuff? I don't know, but everything he says is a lie. But the sheer embarrassment that this man has because his podcast is dead is hilarious to me. I mean, even having to do this guy's pod, this is from a while ago, and this only got 2,000 views, and I only got the views because everyone started trashing it. But, I mean, what Schaub is doing is pathetic. Everything he says is a lie. What happened to Tiger Thick Whiskey? Remember, he was selling whiskey. Aaron Rodgers was going to come in on it and be his partner. He claimed that. He said that. Aaron Rodgers was so going to be involved in Tiger Thick Whiskey. And then he shut down Thick Boy, and he no longer sells Tiger Thick Whiskey. And not because he doesn't drink anymore, because he's still pushing that Sure Shot shit and say, so it's not a moral thing. The guy just lies about everything. I wonder if he was involved in On It, if Rogan got him involved in that. Maybe, but that doesn't put him on the board. He's not a CEO. He mentioned Drive Fast All Gas. He barely posts on that channel. Nothing gets any views. But you did notice he listed the car giveaway as one of his main sources of income. That goes into his scam. He gives away the car to one of his buddies, and he collects everybody's data. You're supposed to be able to enter to win the car by buying merch. He doesn't sell any merch. But you can enter without buying merch. And you can enter, 10,000 times? Just keep giving a new email. So he can sell your email to third-party companies and the data collection companies. That's his scam. And that's why he listed it as one of his main sources of income. But the podcast, no. I mean, that's so dead, Callan took off on him. And now he's reduced to doing it with Tim Kennedy. It truly is pathetic. Sad. And this guy is like, so the podcast, that's your number one source of income? No, it can't be. But if it's not, then why did you leave LA? I mean, if you're part of all these businesses and everything, and the podcast isn't your main source of income, why uproot your family and completely change your life for the podcast that's not your main thing? This entire interview was just, Bappa on full display, where one of the things he says is the guy's doing stand-up comedy. I mean, I got to be a dad. I don't know how those guys do it, but I'm too busy being an amazing dad. And he confirmed in this interview that he's still going to be flying back to Los Angeles once a month. So, he's still going to be flying back to LA, meeting up with the side piece. getting some addies and baddies probably. Still going to be going to LA once a month. So I would assume to do the golden hour too, maybe in studio, but still gonna, and not just to LA. He's still gonna be flying other places. Hey babe, I gotta go to Tennessee and buy a car. Yeah, I gotta leave my house and go there. Just totally not addies and baddies. I'm a great dad though. I'm not doing stand up anymore. This man had to quit stand up because he couldn't sell tickets. He got fired from stand up. And he sits there and pretends to be. It's like his wife. His wife does this thing where she's like, "I'm an interior decorator, and we own a bit." No, you don't, stupid. Your business makes no money. You just say you own a business to say you're doing something when all you're doing is living off his Schaub's dad's money. That's all that's happening at this point. I mean, Schaub at the beginning of his career and when the podcasting first did start, he did actually make money. And he probably is living off a bunch of that to some degree. But a lot of it is also supplemented by his dad. He started out with money. And this ended up being a UFC guy. And then he got into the podcasting with Callan and stuff. But he always had money. His father always had money. So, and his brother doesn't even have a job, but still lives a very decent enough life. So, and like his brother doesn't have all the toys. Like Shaw probably spent a lot of his money on the toys, but when you got knowing your dad is always gonna have your back, you're allowed to make purchases like that. But my God, this idiot saying he's on the board of companies. Wow. If I was invested in a company or worked for a company and I heard Brendan Schaub was on the board of it, I would immediately quit. And I would immediately take my money out and be like, that idiot, that dummy who brings his black cloud and destroys everything. Every person who leaves this guy and goes on to do something else becomes bigger. And this idiot's just sitting there looking like an idiot. Oh, no, no, no. The podcast, of course, that's not my main source of income, but, I'm always successful. Nothing's ever wrong. Everything's always great. The room's on fire around him, and he's the meme, and he's sitting there. Everything's fine. If I don't acknowledge it, it'll go away and be better. Instead of just owning up to what he did, having a true mea culpa moment. But this dummy is not capable of doing that in any way, shape, or form. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.